opportunity to present to you tonight a little bit about the role that I have as the Vice President of Alumni and Development, share with you what's happening in the world of alumni and development. Goal's pretty simple. Hopefully I'll be able to share one or two things with you that you didn't know. And I'm sure that you will have a question or some feedback to me, and I'll learn something that I didn't know. So I want to make sure this is more just a conversation. Of course, I got a presentation, but more of a conversation, just so you can learn just a little bit more what we do within my division. I think I have the best job at Clemson University because I work with our 140,000 alumni and corporations, foundations, and partners and other people that want to be supportive of Clemson University. When I mean supportive, I mean they volunteer, they give their time, they donate dollars, they help us recruit students, they do things in their communities, they run local clubs. So it's a lot of fun to be able to work with so many great people where Clemson's been part of their lives, and it's something that I enjoy doing. I graduated in Clemson in 1983, then came back and did graduate school. Graduated in 85, worked here for a little while, then I went away for 15 years. And then about 11 years ago, I was asked to come back to oversee this area. And so I'm one of the lucky ones that was at Clemson, got to grow, see the world, and able to come back. And it's seen a lot of change. And I'll tell you, it's been a lot of fun being back. So let me just jump into, there you go, okay. The group I work with, again, Alumni Relations and Development, we call ourselves the Development Enterprise. So what does that mean? Is we are the university's alumni association. So whether you're a graduate of the graduate program, undergraduate, once you graduate, you become a member of the Alumni Association. You don't have to pay dues. You graduate and you're a member of our Alumni Association. And again, we have about 140,000 alumni. Do you think that's big or small? Think it's big? Okay. Really, we're pretty small. If you look at other top 20 public universities, they have twice the alumni. Ohio State, 400,000 alumni. So we do have a small alumni base. Another question is, how old do you think we are as far as our graduates? Well, we're pretty young. That's a tough question to answer. We're pretty young. 48% of that 140, 48% graduated in the last 10 years. Because remember, Clemson was a military school for soldiers. Did you get that? Who said it? Did you figure that out? I should have had Cersei to get prizes, I'm sorry. But yeah, we're a young alumni base because we started as a military school, and then through the 60s, we just were very, very small. I was with a bunch of students coming in from Florida that are thinking of coming to Clemson, and they just left the University of Miami private school, and the numbers are just so much bigger. And what I've told them is Clemson University gives you the feel of that powerful top 25 public research university, but it's still that small family size with about 17,000 students. So it's a very, very unique and special place. But anyways, that's our Alumni Association. Development, that means fundraising. We're responsible for going out and asking people for money. But I want to get a little bit deeper in that is we just don't go up and say, Clark, give us some money. Sometimes we do. But the reason you use the term development instead of fundraising is because we want to develop a relationship with somebody. We want to make sure when we ask them to invest back in this university, it's done through a process. And we talk to them and they say, Clemson was special to you, you've been successful. What was so special with Clemson? He said, that one faculty member changed my life. He taught me how to study, he taught me how to present. He was the reason I've been successful in my business. So I'm going to give money to create an endowment, a professorship, or an endowed chair in his honor. So you really bring them in, and then after they make that gift, it's very important. The other thing we do is stewardship. So if somebody gives money, we need to make sure that that gift they gave has impact, and it's our job to make sure we tell them the impact that that gift has. So again, Development Enterprise, Alumni Association, and Development. A couple areas, annual giving. What do you think annual giving is? You can't answer it. Annual giving is every year you give something. I'm going to give $25, I'm going to give $1,000, I'm going to give $10,000. Every year you're going to do that. Clemson University ranks 5th in the country when it comes to alumni participation. So the average at any public university, it's about 14 to 17% of alumni give back. At Clemson, we're 23%. What that tells you are the people that graduate care enough about the institution, they want to give a little something back. So we're very, very proud of that. We'd like to have it higher, but we're proud that we're right there. So annual giving is every year somebody's giving back to Clemson. Planned giving, what do you think planned giving is?
Like funded for a specific project.
Close. Planned giving is also called estate planning. That means I'm going to put Clemson in my will. So that's the ultimate. Remember, Clemson started because Thomas Green Clemson in his will said, start a college that serves the state of South Carolina. So because of that ultimate gift that he gave, we're all experiencing what we are. So planned giving is a very important part for the future, where people say, I'm putting you in my will for X amount of dollars, and they build the endowments, and that gift is here forever. So people say, do people really do that? Yes, they do, and we've been very lucky. So planned giving and estate giving. So that's who we are, and that's what me and my team get to do every single day. Our division has about 65 employees that do all this work to service 140,000 alumni. The Alumni Association's mission is pretty simple. Our job is to inform you with what's going on at the university. Every other week we send out an email to 80,000 of our alumni, because that's all the emails we have. We don't have everybody's. And we give an update of what's happening on this campus. It's got a tremendous reading rate, open rate, because people love to quickly see what's happening. So our job is to inform them and let them know what we do every single day that's happening on campus. To serve, how can we help an alumnus once you graduate? We are big in career services. We partner with the Michelin Career Center because we have alumni who have been out saying, I'm looking for a job. So how can we meet their needs and serve them? Other ways that we serve is we have Clemson clubs and constituency group clubs for all of our alumni base. I'll get to that. And then we want to involve them. We want, once people graduate, we want to make sure they get back involved at Clemson University. Serve on a board, serve on a committee, help us recruit students, help us hire our students. But the biggest thing that may affect all of you is we have alumni clubs. We have 95 of them all over the globe. So after you leave here and have your great experience in graduate school, after you graduate, there'll be a Clemson club near you that you can join and begin to network with other Clemson graduates. Very, very important program that we're proud of. So if you ever want more information, and wherever you travel, all you have to do is pull up the website, .edu/Clemson. If you're going away on spring break, or you just missed that, or if you're traveling and there's a football game, let's say you're going to a conference out in California and Clemson's playing football that weekend. I just don't want to sit in the hotel bar. I'd rather sit in a bar with a bunch of other Clemson people. You can just go online and pull up the San Diego Clemson Club, and they'll have a TV viewing party for you. So they do things like that all over the globe. So when you graduate, make sure you connect to your alumni association. So again, our job is to inform, involve, and keep you educated. Any questions on the role of the Alumni Association? Pretty basic and simple. The other thing that we spend our time on, and this is where there's a great opportunity for discussion, is we raise money for Clemson University. And who has heard of the Will to Lead Capital Campaign? Great. More than I thought. That's good news. This is Clemson University's third capital campaign. A campaign is when you pick a certain period of time and go raise as much money and be focused as you possibly can to raise money within a certain period of time. Clemson's been doing this one for 9 years. It's been exhausting, but for 9 years for this one campaign. And the goal is $1 billion, and we have till June 30th, a couple months away, to hit that $1 billion. We're not there, but we're close. We're not there, but we're close. But that's what we've been focusing on, trying to raise money. What does that campaign do to benefit graduate school? What does it do to benefit Clemson University? As a whole, this campaign has helped support Clemson in things such as professorships for our faculty, endowed chairs. Clemson University had less than 10 endowed chairs before this campaign. We've added 18 new endowed chairs. That means that somebody's given money, $2 million Some people have given, now there are some out there for $6 million endowed chairs that support faculty. This campaign, we've had 18, and a minimum for one of those 18 is $2 million. So an individual gives $2 million, creates an endowed chair, and we give it to Professor X. And that's a supplement to what it helps us retain good faculty and keep good faculty. So but that was a priority, and I'll talk about that a little bit, but that was the priority of this campaign is we need more endowed chairs to retain and keep good faculty. Study abroad programs. We've raised quite a bit of money for study abroad to give students that experience. Creative inquiry. We've created a couple endowments to support that as well. What facilities? I mean, Clemson really did not have a lot of new facilities on campus compared to what we're experiencing now. What, $700 million worth of construction going on this campus right now? But the Watt, who's been inside the Watt Family Innovation Center? Pretty cool. That was made possible by an individual gift from a family of $5 million. And then we've got 6 other companies, each gave $3 million to put the technology and everything in that building. Out of any building in the history of Clemson University, that's received more private gifts than any other building on our campus. Lee Hall, Lee 3, we raised money for that. Not all of it, but for some of that. Who's taking classes in Greenville? Okay, the one building. That was made possible because an individual / corporation, the man who built that building, gave Clemson the 5 floors we have there. So it's like a condominium. He said, hey, these 5 floors are yours. So that was a gift valued over $9 million. So now Clemson has those 5 floors. We work with the Dome to make that happen. Who's taking classes out at ICAR? Nobody at ICAR? Again, out there, the Carroll Campbell Center, after a former governor, private money was given to that from BMW. They wanted that name on there. BMW, Michelin, all those companies have all given multi-million dollars for endowed chairs and scholarships out there. So again, for our graduate student program, ICAR, we've raised a lot of money. Down in Charleston and Curie, the Zucker Graduate Education Center, the Zucker family from Charleston, South Carolina, gave $5 million to name that building. And we'll probably raise, it's probably a $15, $16 million building. We'll probably still raise another $3 or $4 million. Again, private people gave money so we could have a graduate education center in Charleston. So that's the impact of programs like this for the money that we raised. How does it benefit you? We've raised almost $9 million for graduate school. All right, I said we're close to the campaign. That means we've raised a little over $900 million. That doesn't even touch the bucket. So you're saying, we didn't get much to benefit the graduate school, but that helped with study abroad programs and mostly fellowships. And most of those fell into the individual colleges. But we realized that was not a lot of money. But as we look to the future, and you look at the university's new strategic plan, and you've heard about that, the Clemson Forward Plan, one of the priorities of that plan is graduate school and research. Our job, we don't set the priorities. The university administration sets the priorities. We sell what those priorities are. So I was in a meeting yesterday afternoon going through the Clemson Forward Plan. And they're saying, here's what we're going to focus on. And there are pages in here for program support for the graduate school. So that means it's a priority. They're meeting with my team now, so when this rolls out July 1, we know we need more fellowships. We know we need more international travel support. We know that we need more programmatic dollars to support you. So it is becoming a priority because of the plan, so it'll show up on our radar. So what I'll promise you is when you come back here in 10 years after we finish this next campaign, which they're telling us needs to be $2 billion, makes me very nervous. $2 billion, I may retire before that ends, but we will raise more than $8 billion for graduate school because the university in this plan is saying graduate school is important. Any questions about fundraising and what we raise money for?
I just have a question. We recently spoke with a representative from the library, and she had mentioned, the whole reason she was here, I think, was to explain to us how the library is sort of woefully underfunded right now. And I wonder if there's any way to sort of send some of these monies that direction.
Excellent question. I heard about that meeting. No, that's a very good question. And as we went through this plan yesterday, we know that we need to do more to support the library. So that will become a need, not only to affect you because you guys are the biggest users of some of the research there, but that library needs a facelift. It needs a lot of investment. So even though right now dollars are tight at the library and they wouldn't have that presentation with you, right now and today as we plan in the future, the library will be on the radar screen. For example, every college and unit, every college in this campus has 1 or 2 fundraisers. Engineering has 3 people that raised money just for engineering. We committed today to hire a fundraiser just for the library. Now, we'll have to build up who do they raise money for and things like that, but we're going to partner with the dean to help them raise money. So that's a good question. Another question people ask, excuse me, is what about athletics? Where's all this money going to athletics? Athletics has got a lot of construction going on, and they are raising private money, and part of this $1 billion is athletics. But it represents about 26% of the total. So when we hit $1 billion, only 26% is athletics. The rest of it is to support academics. And so they are raising money for that. And remember, athletics budget to pay for all that construction. So if you're building the rebuilt Little John, that's a $60 million project maybe, and we'll raise probably $5 or $6 million towards that number. The rest is revenue and bonds. It doesn't take any money away from the academic core at all. So that's separate pots. So that's very important to know. Great question from the library. Any, yes?
Well, of the 26% athletics, how much is it for the big athletic programs as opposed to, say, some of the smaller ones like rugby or swimming?
Okay, rugby is a club sport, right? So that's not an official team of our Division I athletics. So if rugby gets support, they get that. If rugby club gets support, which they do at Clemson, rugby's got a very good alumni group behind them. When they raise money, that's part of the other side of the campaign. That would run through the academic side. So if an intramural club team is raising money, that would come on my side. The 27%, it represents what IPTE brings in annually, which is about $3 million a year, plus the money we raise for capital and athletics.
Okay.
But that's a very good question. For example, the intramural fields, you remember they all got ruined because of rainy football season. So if we drive over the lake and we see those new fields that are being built, the Snow Family Complex, that is because the Snow family who were parents' daughter a couple years ago, the intramural fields got messed up and they couldn't finish their championship season for intramurals. So the family has given over $2 million to build those fields. So we have permanent intramural fields for our students. So that whole side on the other side of the lake, we're raising the money for it. That's going to be a whole new complex for student activities. I'm sorry, yeah.
Well, we have, the club sports teams have fields after this year, because I know that our practice fields were ruined, and then because football is making new practice facilities, the soccer team is now moved to where the club sports used to play.
Correct.
So now we have no fields.
Correct.
So will that be changed? And will some?
I'm going to try and give you an answer that I think I know, and though I'm not the expert in student affairs, is that's the reason they're building those fields on the other side of the lake, is so we will have more intramural fields.
Not intramural, so club sports.
Oh, club sports, like full-time
The
rugby.
intramural gets priority for the turf field, the club teams don't.
Okay.
So we don't currently have fields because we've gotten kicked off.
Soccer
Is now being moved because of football. And so I'm wondering where we're going to get moved.
I don't know that,
But if
but
there's money that's going to be used for that.
I'll make a note of that and get back to the appropriate channel and get you an answer on that. Make sure you write down that question I'm going to follow up on. Please, sir. I tell you, you've already asked me more questions when I spoke to the faculty senate. You guys have already asked me more questions. So it makes it a lot worth staying up so late.
So in terms of the strategy for allocating money to the library, how quickly are we going to see something being done about it?
That's a very good question. Slower than you're going to want it to be.
Does that mean that we're still going to have to pay the library fee?
Most likely, yes. Because as the strategic plan kicks in, starts July 1 of next year, we will just begin raising money for at that time. So, and you gotta remember, it's annual dollars that they need, so we build that up. It'll be a year before we really get it kicking money. And the development officer probably won't be on board until probably realistically October. So the folks, so you're looking a couple of years before we really start building a pool big enough to probably see the impact.
What about your, what's your opinion on doing like a Kickstarter or GoFundMe page for the library?
I applaud you for finding a way to try to support the library. I work with this guy right here. If you do things through social media, Kickstarter or some of those programs, they're great ways to raise money, but it's hard for us to help manage and control that. So let's say you did that program all in the web and say, I'm raising money for the library. And people give to it, and you raise, let's say you raise $30,000. And everyone's going to make a gift there. That's actually not a gift to Clemson. The library will say thank you, but it's not a gift to Clemson because you guys would be doing it on your own through the web, and you'd get the money and you'd say, here you go, library, here's $30,000. The dean will be very thankful, but we would not have a record of anybody here making a gift. So that's why you want to work through the annual giving team to say, if we as a group want to support the library, and I think you heard about Give Day, if you want to support the library, work with our annual giving. So when Unique makes his gift, he starts his giving record at Clemson. So that's how I would say, try to work with us and we'll help you accomplish that.
So is there a means to do that in the coming Give Day? Is there a provision for it?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And we'll leave you here to talk to the group about getting that done. Great question. I appreciate your passion for the library. All right, any other questions of what we raise money and why? Okay, you have an endowment. Does everyone understand what an endowment is? Basically, from your fees, I believe, you put $50,000 into endowment within our foundation, and that money will, that $50,000 will never be spent. It's going to be invested and invested and grow. And then every year we're going to take 4% of it, and you can spend it. 4% of that's how much? $200, right? That wouldn't pay our bar tab down at TD's. But it's a beginning. It's a great place to start. So when you think about giving back, whether it's Give Day to the library, always think about growing that endowment. Remember I talked to you about people who had that professor they really admired? He gave an endowment, he gave $250,000 10 years ago. That's worth, right? The interest has grown, the market was good for a while, then it dropped, it's good. Now that's worth almost $300,000. So now it's 4% of $300,000. So this is about looking to the future. This was a great decision by all of you to do this. I know today you're saying, I wish we could have given that to the library. But long term, this is going to help people who are sitting in your seats in 15 and 20 years. So when you think, I think I want to give back, grow your own, that's why I support your programs, give back to that endowment, make it grow. How big do you think Clemson University's endowment is?
Is that on the order of millions?
Huh?
On the order of millions?
Million. It was hundreds of, it's about 650 to 650 million. You think that's good or bad? There you go. She said, whatever it is, it's not good enough to cover the library fees. That's exactly right. Compared to our peers, top 20 peers, everybody in the top 20 has over $1 billion except Clemson and William and Mary. We've got to grow our endowment. Clemson University, state school, when I was here in the 70s and 80s, before some of y'all may have been born, 70s or 80s, is, you know, Clemson got, what, 70% of our budget was from the state. And so that was a nice train that we rode for a long time, and we never got into the business of private giving seriously until about 15 years ago. So if you look at Chapel Hill State School as well, they got serious about fundraising 40 years ago. So they have a much larger endowment. But our goal is to get our endowment at over $1 billion. And again, that cash of $1 billion is never spent. Every year it produces interest, and that money supports the fellowships, the library, and all that. That was a great response. Okay. So what's next? How can we help you have a better experience at Clemson University by attracting more private support to make your experience be the best it can be? That's the sales pitch we give all the time. So number one is the new strategic plan. And if you look at the last Clemson roadmap, you didn't see a lot about graduate studies, graduate school in there. This plan, you have it. So as you work with your leadership and the new Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies, as you guys identify needs, communicate with him, with Dr. Osmond, communicate saying, here are the priorities that we need. And again, he's already doing that up through the Provost's office, because I have the list right here of priorities. But if you think really funding the library is important, make sure that message gets in the right way to the Provost's office so it can become part of the plan. And it's a priority, and then we'll help sell it. So think of what your priority, you represent all our graduate students, you're their voice, you hear from them, listen and bring those priorities back and say, if graduate school is a priority, here are 3 things we've got to focus on, or we're not going to be as strong as we are today. So that is a big opportunity that you have that if I spoke to this group 2 or 3 years ago, I wouldn't have, because the graduate school wasn't that priority. Because you need to say, we need a lot more than $9 million raised in a $1 billion campaign to support graduate school programs. So we have an opportunity to do that. Make your needs and share that in the right way with university leadership. All right, I'm a fundraiser, and I'm always going to ask, make sure you support Clemson University. Again, our graduate giving at Clemson is higher than the national average, just as it is for our undergraduate. So we're proud of that. But as you look at where you are, Give Day is a great opportunity to make maybe your first give back to Clemson and start that giving record. We talk to undergraduate students about the same thing. Start your legacy of giving. Start your legacy of giving, and then as you graduate and move forward, keep that going on. Try to have consecutive giving. I graduated in '83 and I haven't missed a year since. Almost missed 1 year when I had to do braces on my kids. But I had, so the number dropped a little bit, but I still gave back. That's important to me. So hopefully giving back is important to you. Another story I want to share with you is when I first graduated Clemson University, I got a call from the annual giving office where you give some money. And I said, I don't know. So I think I gave $15. That was it. And and I left there and I was telling that story to a friend. I graduated Clemson. I went to work for a not-for-profit. My friend graduated, went to work for Michigan. So I said, did you get that call last night? And he said, no. And I said, they called me to make an annual gift back to Clemson. You're working for Michigan. You should at least make a gift back. And he said, I probably should. He made a very nice gift back. So the message is, people who have already graduated, or family members or friends, but have already graduated and doing well. And so go back with the message and tell them, do you know there's not enough money at the library that we're going to have to start paying a fee? Will you make a gift this year? Will you restrict it to the library? So tell your friends that love Clemson and want to support Clemson and help them accomplish your goal. Say, give a gift to the library. It'll make a difference. Maybe not next year, but wouldn't it be nice if the year after that it made that difference? So think of that. That's a way that you can help yourselves, but also help Clemson University raise more money and support the institution as a whole. So with that, are there any other questions?
I would just like to make one other comment about the library.
Sure.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, sort of discussion about like the fee and everything. And basically, that's really not why I brought it up. I'm sure that maybe everyone in here wouldn't agree with me. But being that I'm from like the sort of social sciences, humanities side, I know that the library, I hope that it would be in the future not only the goal of, I hope the goal would not only be to reduce the fee, but that the library would actually be a priority as far as expanding the collections, improving our access to databases, that sort of thing. That's a way that Clemson can really help the humanities and social sciences side,
Okay. Which
it's easy, I think, at a school that's sort of focused on more of the technical side to forget. So I just wanted to make that heard.
I'll hear it. The bottom line is the library needs an influx of cash on an annual basis and future gifts, so it'll always be there. They need it to serve the population of graduate and undergraduate. Right. It's something that has not been on the radar, and I agree with you 100%. When I first came back here, there was a very active there was a development officer in there 10 years ago, and they had a volunteer board, and their job was to raise money for the library. I mean, they took the term endowed chairs for faculty, and they sold endowed chairs just to buy a chair. So like $250, and that, because the furniture was so bad, you could buy a chair with your name on it. So they just played a little bit of game. But that group has kind of fallen away. There's been change of leadership. I'll tell you, our librarian, I know she may have shocked you a little bit, but she gets fundraising and the importance of it. So when she came and interviewed, she came to our office and says, I need a development officer. So she gets it, she knows that challenge. Because the budget's only so big. So it's going to take private giving. That private giving is the margin of excellence. That's what I call it. Icing on the cake, a margin of excellence. Great point, though.
I was thinking about a fundraising idea inside of my head. So a lot of organizations during the football season or for any of the sports have contracts to work at the stadium or for baseball. Wouldn't it be feasible for graduate students, since we are the bulk of the majority who really need access, perhaps to be able to volunteer to work to earn those funds for the library, or specifically donate a day during a major football game that's called Library Day, and then have a percentage of those proceeds go to the library? I don't see what's so hard about that.
That's good. Now, one, to volunteer, because I know you work in sessions and stuff like that. In that process, if this is something that the group wants to do, say, hey, we want to take the Troy game, first game's going to be exciting, we want to take those proceeds, whatever it is, with the library, I'd get in touch with athletics. I'd call Tim Match, and athletics, say this is something we want to do. But the idea of creating a library day at sports, because at one time there were athletic games where they had one Clemson focus, and some part of the gates, revenues, did go back and support programs. That was the previous administration. So those ideas are open, and those options are pretty cool out there. So that's a good point. So and always brainstorm like that. And the commitment I'll make is that if you have fundraising ideas, or you have an individual you want us to talk to, whatever you may need to help bring in private support, we'll help you do it. That's why we're here. Because again, we got a team of over 65 people, and that's our job, is to get people excited about Clemson, get them involved in Clemson, and want to invest back to support this institution. So if you have ideas or people you know that can help us accomplish that, find me. I'll be more than happy to help out and do that. So are there any other questions? I appreciate the opportunity.
Now that the library has a development officer assigned,
Well, we've approved to hire
he
one.
is. So in the meantime, we're going to be paying the fee and such.
Right.
So what are the odds that they will rescind that fee once they begin making money from other avenues?
That will be, fair question, that would be a decision of the academy to make. Okay, so when we raise money for the library and we build this pool, let's say we give them $250,000 of cash next year, they will sit back and decide, all right, we're going to take this money and it's going to do ABC, or I'm going to take this money and it's going to help us not do the fee. One thing graduate school can do is say, we want to raise money for the library, but if we raise X, we want to see that fee go away. You know, partner and work with them so you can challenge them. But no, because we raise that money, you're right, it doesn't guarantee that this fee could go away. But if they raise more money, they could say, and the feedback is that fee is so unrealistic, that could be one of the first things the academy, the library would say, go away with. We wouldn't make that decision. Okay. Any other questions? Again, I thank you so much. Please watch Will to Lead when you watch whatever's on the Clemson website, etc. We're very, very close to doing this. When we do raise $1 billion, we will be the first public university with an alumni base as small as we are to raise $1 billion. That's pretty special. And our goal is, our friends down the street, they raised $1,043 million. We want to try to beat them. Got a long way to go to do it, but wouldn't it nice to beat them in fundraising as well as football and some of our other sports. But again, I appreciate the opportunity, and in closing, people come and talk, say, yeah, he said whatever. I'll commit to you that since graduate school program is a priority in their strategic plan, our team and the university has set those priorities, not fundraisers, set those priorities. Our team will be focusing on raising more money for graduate students. Again, you may not see an immediate impact, but those after you will see that. So I applaud the university for making that commitment, as well as strong undergraduate and diversity scholarships and things like that they're focusing on. So with that, I thank you very much. Mr. President, I know you become a lame duck after tomorrow, but I appreciate your friendship and all that you've done. We've worked very close on Board of Trustees. It's been a great leader for you all, and it's also been fun to get to know. So with that, I say thank you, the best of luck with all your meetings. It's time for me to go, but have a great night.